Good day everybody, welcome to what I believe is the second video of Tuesday. This one is going to be all about Stark Enhanced Spidey, rank 3, 6-star, 200 signature. And I'm pretty excited about this because this does give me some kind of like OG, kind of like old school vibes for this game, which is weird because it's 7 years out. But like, let's face it, back in I think it's 2017, which was, my god, 4 years ago, Stark Enhanced Spidey was doing his numbers throughout this community, and as this new kind of movement to add in 6-star versions of champions, OG champions now comes in, it is great to be able to do a video on a champion I still use, but not as much as I used to, and should be a champion I kind of go back to now and again. So I got to look at this champion on the content creator beta, so I don't get to keep this champion, which sucks, but at the same time, you know, I shouldn't be able to keep it. I've got to try and win him through Marauder crystals. So at least I get to kind of like have a look whether or not there's any kind of like extra punch, and there is. Okay, there is. We're going to play a load of footage from playing Act 7.2, Act 7.1, Labyrinth of Legends, and Realm of Legends. Of course, we'll do footage over that in a moment. The main thing about this champion is Awakened. He's a lot better, especially with great power and great responsibility. Above 50%, the Spiderman's taunt lasts 2 seconds longer, and Charge of Poise grants him an additional 657.81 critical rating, which is important for doing those nice tasty crits, or kind of like having the ability to consistently create those crits, I think I should have said with that one. As a lot of you know, Evading builds a Poise charge, which is beneficial for the champion's damage output. Also, when it comes to the SP2, damage output is essential. There's a little bit of utility from doing a power control, doing the EMP over 30 seconds, do a heavy attack, boom, takes power away from the enemy, simple as that. And Taunt really helps out as a narrative to make enemy champions throw special attacks. That's easy to explain this champion. I love him, think he's great. Better with the Blade Synergy. Blade Synergy allows you to start each fight with 3 poises, which helps you build quickly, which then helps like all matters. Great Evader, especially when that the Stark AI is up, as it increases by plus 60%. And as well, if you're lower than 50% health, it does mean that your chance on evade on attack increases by a flat plus 7%. Charge of Poise grants 95 additional block proficiency. So your defensive parameters increase and improve. So yeah, I mean, that's all the fundamentals with the champion. Let's now showcase some footage, shall we? Okay, here we go. First of all, starting with the obligatory Winter Soldier fight interaction. Now with this, for me, it was a case that this is a very difficult thing to do whilst the game is so scuffed as it is, especially like trying to get consistent evades, dexterities, and as well parries. Playing this champion is, and it took a little while for me because that is a long time out since I played this champion, especially to get consistent dexterities and things like that. But still, you can see Poise is built to the top left-hand corner. I should be waiting and kind of building more Poise, but the biggest problem with this champion is, again, it's the current state of the game and trying to reliably dexterity. But and it's by watching the enemy AI, because that's the biggest thing here. It's just watching it go, making sure that it's responding. Throwing a special attack, I would have loved to have done that at 10 poise, but you can still see some great numbers. 20k plus a hit, unlocking Suicide Masteries. As I just want to do that for a few times. You can see the crits. Man, the crits are nice. Especially because we're over that 50% threshold. The potency is indeed increased, but still, it's nice. We're in 40 hits, got the enemy champion down to 50% health, which to be honest, isn't too bad. He hits like an absolute beast, and I'm all about this kind of interaction, and I'm all about like the way this is going because I'm just impressed. So we're there, kind of build up to 9. I am going to throw a special attack in a minute, trying to get to 10 poises. I've got to be very, very sure with this one. So on 10, 26k, I think there was like 20 or 36k additional, but that's a meaty amount of damage, especially with the ticks of damage from the shock. This is very, very impressive. This clip was 1 minute 55, which I think is brilliant to then get this with 61 hits and the enemy is down. I think it's actually really impressive. Unfortunately, with this champion, you do have to rank 3 it, have suicides, and have 200 signatures on. Now, to kick off this fight, I thought we'll do like some Red Hulk in Labyrinth of Legends. Again, big problem that I've got at the moment is just controls. Like the game at the moment, the current state. This is one thing that has discouraged me from kind of like doing a lot of these kind of gameplay videos, because the enjoyment is kind of like sucking my interest when it comes to creating these videos. But I'm going to come back to this regardless of the current situation in the game. As we see, oh my god, I think that was close to like, I need to calculate that, but that looked like that was like a close to about 80k, maybe even pushing up to 100k SP2. I may put on the thumbnail maybe like how much it is with this, because it is very, very impressive with the amount of damage. Honestly, like, I had a great time kind of like replaying the champion again. And as well, playing against Red Hulk. This is actually an interaction I think I had back when I did Labyrinth of Legends for the very first time, which was using the likes of Stark Spidey and as well Blade. That was my trinity with Ghost Rider in tow for it, especially using, I think I used Blade against Maestro in the end. So that's kind of like, that's how old school it is, kind of using those interactions. Because I didn't have Aegon. I think I did this without Aegon the first time, my 5-star one. I don't think I got it until like later on. That definitely a mistake there. That's not controls. That's just me doing a little bit of a mistake. But same time, just look at this: 23k, 23k, 23k. Yeah, I mean that's definitely like 66k just right off the bat, right there. But the great thing about that champion in interaction with this is that because if you had, it's that 50k limit for what is it, for the per crit or something like that. The way that it kind of interacts. Again, that's a dropped input. It's a few things that are just kind of like not really enjoyable about the game, but this is a great champion and I had a lot of fun, especially in some of the interaction. Used several options against this as well, from the likes of I used this against which is a little bit of Old Man Logan, which the fight is coming up a little bit now. So I've kind of like chopped up the next bit of footage into more kind of like smaller chunks because I just don't want this to go on and on. This is obviously a showcase. I want to make this as quickly as possible, but at the same time, go like this is great, a lot of fun. We've got the class advantage here, and they get very unlucky with that critical, not with like the critical rate of as high as it should be. If I was up to 10, maybe I would have critted, because I didn't crit on that SP2. It's very disappointing, but it is what it is. And right at the very end, the biggest problem is if you things aren't going really your way and you're recoiling damage with suicides, and unfortunately you've got to like, the best situation for this, or the best interaction, is to push to the SP3 and keep yourself alive. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's keeping a revive if you go and use a champion with the rotations around SP3. Because that's the thing with suicides. It's great to see that damage off of SP2s, which is the narrative of the champion to play. But at the same time, you are losing out because SP3 is unfortunately the way to go to keep the champion alive. Oh, you people, keep yourself alive, as I think it was the band before Queen sang. But yeah, you've got to keep yourself alive. Now we're going to move on to Act 7.1 and 7.2 content respectively, and try out a few things. First of all, this is, I think, Act 7.2, and trying out a few things. I think this is Flare. I want to say I've got Flare on at the moment, and you can just see the rate of damage that's coming off here. Like, I haven't even got like all my poise up, and you can see the crits that I'm doing. It's kind of Corvus level critting I'm talking about here. Great thing about the interaction class advantage, and as well, like, evade comes off that. And that's, man, that's a matter of just like, what, 18 hits or something, 16, 18 hits. It's like beautiful. This is again problematic when it comes to interactions if you've got Flare on, and as well you've got a very kind of defensive or passive enemy. Trying to capitalize this as quickly as possible. As you can see, I'm losing health from the Suicide Masteries. It is causing problems with that double edge. So it's really kind of showcasing that there's good and there's bad to running Suicide Masteries. But definitely, I do like this champion. I do love it. It's been one of my favourites for a very, very long time. And that's just the thing. As we're going to hit into the block, and I'm like, oh, screw it, I'll just hit into the block even more, otherwise I'm going to die. Now, a little bit of a class disadvantage interaction here, but this one is, what is this? This is Life Transfer. That's it, Life Transfer. And I thought I'd do this because this is the best thing about the interactions. If you've got Suicide Masteries on, you get the best part of both worlds. And that best part of both worlds is indeed to kind of have, well, you're losing damage or you're losing health, but you can also life transfer. So you can like keep up the pressure and do this. Look at that. Just look at that damage. It's beautiful. And as well, yeah, okay, like building up, should really be building up to like the relevant amount of poise in order to critical rate. But doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, look at this. Look at this amazing damage. 11k, 7k, just 3k there, 8k, 24k, and it's like a splattering of damage there. It's beautiful off that SP2. So that's really the thing. Very, very enjoyable. And the thing is, it can still be used on various different bits of content. I suppose you could even rotate quite well and do some stuff with well, I don't know, all or nothing. So he's a bit of an iffy one using his stuff against all or nothing. Anyway, great interaction right here because we've got Aegon fight coming up. And again, back to live transfer. Still doing some stuff for that. It's all good. Come on. Get that damage, speed and momentum. Violent speed and momentum. Well, I call it damage, speed and momentum. Just because, well, you have to do damage. I do like a bit of violent speed and momentum, especially with MCOC. Because at the end of the day, you want to get it all done and dusted. But, you know, man, I love it. I do love it. Especially the extent of shock damage that you can do. That's the tasty number. But the SP2, man, we get them crits. So it's lights out for the likes of Aegon. As we go up to 10 poises in now with some nice crits. It is nice to see that, especially. And then with the SP2, not all poises, but doesn't really matter because boom, and a job is done. That's a lovely little fight right there. As I said, it was brilliant returning back to an old champion that I loved from a very long time ago, and was definitely, and I'm very happy to kind of like have this go for testing. I won't get to keep him sadly, but definitely when it comes back to my Marauder crystal opening towards the end of the month, fingers crossed that I get some more because I'll get a chance to get this guy, get Hyperion, or 6-star Iceman. It's just having that kind of nostalgia for quality old school champions. It's weird to say they're old school, but they definitely feel like old school, especially with the way they kind of function. Spiderman, I think, is just like a very easygoing champion. It's just a bit of a shame with the current meta of the, well, not current meta, but the current state of the game. Having a champion that is not consistent when it comes to movements, controls, and as well dexterity becomes slightly problematic, but you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was incredibly fun, and still the champion is relevant against some of the various different kinds of content. So it was nice to see usage in Act 7.2, Act 7.1, and definitely if you pick him up and you're thinking about awakening him as a 6-star, have at it. I know people may say there's other options available, but this guy's actually quite fun, and it may be nice to invest into him. Yes, he probably won't be the quintessential prestige champion that you'll be looking for, but it's all about good champions, and he's a good champion. Taunt is good. Easy rotations to do power controlling with the heavy attack, I like it, and great damage dealing. So he's got some good stuff, as well as evading, which isn't too bad. In any case, that has been a video. What are your thoughts on a 6-star rank 3 200 signature version of Stark Enhanced Spidey? Put it in the comment section down below. And make sure as well to check out some content recently posted on screen right about now. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.